We'll be back from the break, and you're still watching Smart Main's Business. I'm on Juba region here with Mas, definitely driving your business. But of course, before we're proceeding to any discussion, the markets on the Zabo platform, any time from now, just about 5 minutes left for the markets to be opening. Now, starting 92 hash is simply the USSD code to enable you to be a part of this. And of course, as we know that the markets will be opening at exactly 8:15 a.m. and they will be running up to 3:15 p.m. and this is effective every Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when these markets are not in access. But of course, away from that, you have all these other days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge profit, something which I believe is very key and instrumental when it comes to your personal development as a trader, and most especially when it comes to do with financial freedom. Yes, bonds and securities is the talk of the day, and regardless of where you're located, this is possible for you, to be so in the city center everywhere. Zabo says my money, my future, and all Text East Africa says do something new. It's there, 2023. Well, of course, right about now, as our culture and custom, it's the time when we take you through the business tips and quotes. You get inspired as a young and a vibrant entrepreneur, that is coming up into this game of entrepreneurship. You need to understand what you really need to do, what are the do's, what are the don'ts, what are the things you need to do, and what are the things that you don't need to do. More of this. Let's get into the tips. Well, the purpose of leaders is to create more leaders. That is, not followers, but you see.
If we all become leaders, who will follow?
No, because among the leaders, there is a leader.
Oh, there is the top leader among the small.
Now, that's what they're trying to say. They may not be leaders in the physical sense, but they have the leadership mindset.
But of course, I think everyone, I must say, when it comes to leadership, everyone is a leader. Even in your home, definitely you're a leader. You could be the leader of those siblings of yours.
Yeah, because if you have a leadership mentality, the reason why you do things that is different.
Because there's someone out there looking up
to me. They'll be surprised. They're like, of all people, I didn't expect you. So that's what literally they're trying to make. Of course, they may not be leaders in the physical sense that they are elected and appointed, but leadership mindset. Leadership is a mindset. It's not a physical aspect. Like he's a leader. You could be a leader, but mindset doesn't really portray that. Then still further, we had something to do with use tech always. That was our tip.
Everywhere you go.
Actually, everywhere you go, use technology. I remember somebody made a statement and they said, you see, when people are broke and then when you have nothing and you hear things, people talk about money, when people are broke, that's when they become philosophers. That it's not about money. And actually somebody was saying, let property not turn you into a philosopher. So when I read that comment that use tech everywhere, and I see these kinds of people that come out to say technology is why. But the person is saying that simply because they can't afford the tech to do what it should do. Yeah, probably that somebody's having a good phone or a TV, a smart TV, and somebody can't afford it, and then they try to say tech is not good, tech is not what. But I mean, the day you got the capacity to actually own, to have the money to have one, I don't think you'll ever come up with those philosophies again, as saying, talking about tech. So we have to use it everywhere, but definitely, apart from, despite that, we still have to put in that other aspect of being careful with what we use it for, because if it was meant for our good, it might still lead to our down, to our end.
It's just that technology actually is good, but then when you expose it to, you have to expose it to the right, what should I say, right people. I've been seeing technology, kids. Okay, like I do not know really. You find a kid is on the iPad or on the tablet, and they know things that you do not know.
Being exposed. The earlier they get exposed, the better there will be better breeds.
You who's mature enough don't know something on the and she's like, mommy, or this does this, and you're like, wow. So, but the earlier, if they know, if they use it for the right reasons, okay,
of course, the right reasons,
then it's okay, because we are in an era where technology is the thing now. So we can't be in analog. People, please. To them analog, to them digital. We are in the digital era. Everything is technology, phones, TVs. I remember those days when we had the TVs with stomach, with the stomachs. They used to call them stomachs.
Covered screens.
So now we have flat screens. Touch. Some are touch. You can. So definitely we are evolving. So definitely get out of your mind. Go with Gena Naviganda.
Go with the flow.
People are like, no, me, I'm not taken up by the crowd.
When they're broke.
They are definitely.
That's what I was saying, that
they're definitely broke.
You can become a philosopher when you can't afford certain things. You become a philosopher. You say this. You see those. Somebody goes ahead to say there's a statement.
Giving offer to revive mobile money.
Yeah.
You're really set. So please embrace technology. Soon enough, we shall have online business. Of course, there is started, but it's not catching up so much in Uganda. Soon enough, you'll be just click on your phone and they deliver things to you. You don't need to go and walk. Uber finds you wherever you are. Things are going to be easier for us. We're going to even start being lazy. That's the one thing I'm afraid. We may start being lazy.
See, when they say
we shall not think on our own. That's the thing I'm worried about.
There is a statement before we get into this next discussion where somebody said that hard times create strong people, and strong people create simple times. And now the simple times create simple people. And now the simple people create hard times. In other words, if I grow up in everything is okay, I'm going to be weak. So when I become weak, that means I'm going to become lazy. I won't work for the next generation. So my being weak after growing into a simple time, the coming generations are going to face it rough. So I'm going to create hard times. Now those hard times for that generation will create strong people. And now those strong people will again create simple times, which will, so it's a cycle of events. It's a cycle of events.
So
that's what happens in
I don't know where we are in the lazy ones.
It really can't tell.
Are we
really
in the lazy ones or the ones our children are going to be in the hard ones?
Actually, our children might face the hard ones.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're going to face the hard ones.
Very, very true. Well, now, of course, with our discussion here in terms of course, looking at supply chain disruptions, something which has been really key when it comes to, business enhancement into the country, the movement of money, the supply chain having a few gaps in there. But of course, we need to still understand how can those supply gaps be linked together? How can they be bridged up together? Let's get into this discussion, and definitely we shall be returning to wrap this up.
It is true that very many people have started companies in Uganda, and when they start these companies, the best employer of any company, the best employer is government. It's the best employer. Why? Because government receives, like now this year, it is going to receive 52 trillion. And if you took off around 9 trillion in wages and others, the balance, okay, take off also gratuity and any other thing, you'll find that almost 30 trillion is going to be used strictly for procurement of services. That is consultancies, that is contracts for roads, buildings, internet, communication, everything that is going to, hotel facilities, tourism facilities, car hire facilities. So when companies open up, their main target is government. And when these companies, when you're opening up a company, there are things that you need. One, you'll need workers. After you getting the workers, you'll need capital. After getting capital, of course you need a location. After the location, you will need workers that are going to work for you, experienced workers. Then you will need capital, such that when you find a service maybe in the papers or online or something, when you go to bid, you will need capital to execute it. Then you will need the experience in what you're doing. And then if it is a construction or anything, you will need the equipment. So that's the credit line. That is what it is. Now you open up a company you have the paperwork. After opening it up, you go ahead and get an office. After getting an office, that is all money you're spending before you get there. Then we cap up what they call capital. You found a job in the papers, you want to bid for this job, and then you need a bid security. You don't have. You need capital. You don't have. You borrow around. Capital in Uganda is very, very, very expensive. You cannot borrow at 26%, 27%. You needed the duration of processing of capital from any financial institution is so long. You not go there today and get money tomorrow and then supply the other day and then you're given, you're paid back. You will take almost 3 months, 2 months chasing a loan of 10 million, 5 million, 20 million, 40, a billion. Will take 6 months. Then after you've gotten the money. Now the biggest problem that we have today is even after you've supplied, you've gone through all the hassle, borrowed from friends, done everything, combined your papers, corporation, certificate of incorporation, memorandum of articles of association, Form A where the company is located, powers of attorney, you've mobilized, come up with a very good bid to supply or contract or anything or consultancy, handed it in, then we go into the bureaucracy of the procurement, the evaluation committee, then the contracts committee, then the solicitor general, then it comes back for award, the contracts committee, then display for 14 days. So the procurement process is very long and very lengthy. Government has tried to catch up with a solution to the financial, make sure that that they create avenues of cheap capital through microfinance support center, through Uganda Development Bank, through different agencies. These are the microfinances. The problem is the Ugandans that are starting, the youth today, do not have collateral. So they need to have associations that can buffer them, that can guarantee them and, look after them and chase after them for the money to go back to the banks. Government is also supposed to contract only and only when it has the money. If there is no money, postpone the procurement. I know some projects are political, but before you get the money, try to use any other solution than making contractors get, invest their money, yet you don't have money to pay them. You will say that actually we put a clause that we shall pay you with interest, but the interest never comes. Interest can accumulate for 7 years without the government paying. So the solution is, 1, get us cheap capital. 2, open up a startup education center where Ugandans are taught what happens if you become a contractor, what next after you becoming a contractor, a supplier, or a contractor. To go through the basic courses of HR, human resource management, marketing, procurement, and all of these, such that by the time you go into something of access to capital, partnerships, mergers, go through all of this. Because we don't need everyone starting up a company. We can all be in one company, but have very many, supply jobs using one company. Yeah, for all of them to be funded by one. Then 2, to call up almost everyone that opened up a company into one workshop. Then we agree on why and how we failed. Why have companies failed? How can the government help us? There are over 5,000 companies opened up. Over 5,000. But you may find that the ones that are operational are around 200 or 300 companies in Uganda. So why are the rest not working? Why hasn't there been a discussion within the Uganda registration, the Company Registration Bureau, on why companies that have registered are not working and are not progressing? Why haven't we had this conversation? If it comes to capital, if it comes to HR and people are not getting jobs and people do not have money, why isn't government providing, why isn't government helping these young people that are opening up their companies, thrive in the business with the bigger companies? Why don't we group the companies and say this is stage A, these ones are for contracts that are above 20 billion. B, those that are around 15 billion. C, 10 billion. E, until the first one, such that we differ, because you find somebody that has 20 billion bidding for something of 5 million, bidding for something of 10 million, yet for him he has a company that can bid for 20 or 15 billion. So there is no stage management of who should be procuring what, when, and how. So there are very many things that we are supposed to do in order to rectify the procurement processes and the supply chain of the country of the Republic of Uganda.